Hey guys, welcome to Monday morning. So next little while, we're going to look at authority, the authority that God has given to us, probably today, tomorrow, maybe Wednesday-ish. And so we're going to continue in 1 Samuel chapter 16. So in 1 Samuel chapter 16, it says from verse 4, Samuel did what the Lord said. When he arrived at Bethlehem, the elders of the town trembled when they met him, and they asked, "Do you come in peace?" Now, the reason I want to talk about authority is a few guys have asked me this question. John, where's the line at the moment? Because on the one hand, we don't want to be Christians who just run away. The government says you can't meet. Okay, we can't meet. It's fine. We're petrified, so we're going to go run away and hide. The government says you can't, be careful what sort of social gatherings you go to. So we just shut down community. Where is the line of just, we're not going to stand for anything as the church. We're just going to pack it in and just, give into fear and go lager mentality until Jesus comes back. So that's on the one side. But there's also the extreme on the other side where these hyper-fundamentalist Christians who run around, we just want to heal anything that moves. We don't care about face masks. We don't care about infection. We run from hospital to hospital trying to heal everyone and just spreading the infection. Now, neither one of those two polar opposites are healthy at all. So what is our authority? What are we meant to be doing at the moment? Because there's so many voices talking about this at the moment. Well, in Romans 13, Paul says this, all of you must obey the government rulers. Everyone who rules was given the power to rule by God. And of those who rule now, were given that power by God. So anyone who is against the government is really against something God has commanded. And so for us, let me just address the one side firstly. On the side of fear and shutting down our meetings and these kind of things that are happening at the moment, we aren't doing that out of fear. When the government says don't meet in groups larger than 100, we aren't doing that because we are afraid. We understand that there is some wisdom. And God has delegated the government to lead us at this time. And if they feel that's the best options, given the counsel that they've received from experts, we agree with them. So we don't feel like we're being persecuted, that we can't meet like that. And I've heard some churches talk like that, saying the government has said we can't, or we have been restricted to. No, it's not like that at all. We as Christians choose to agree with what the government says about this. And we're happy to change our ways. Why? And to meet differently. Why? Because we want to see people healthy. We don't want to be part of the problem. We want to be part of the solution. And so we're not fighting against something that God has put in place, the rulers, right, in our country. So we're doing what we're doing out of a sense of faith, not out of a sense of fear at all. And we're happy to change the way we're doing things, like I said. On the other side, though, we don't. Where is our authority in terms of what do we stand for? And this is quite interesting. For me, when I look at authority, I don't carry authority inherently inside of me. What I mean by that is, if I'm a manager at work, wherever I work, I have authority as a manager. Why? Because I've been delegated that by my boss, by the person who's above me in my work hierarchy. If I had to lose my job and come back the next day and tell someone that I used to have authority over to do something, they tell me to go fly a kite. Why? Because the authority doesn't live inside of me. It was delegated me by the company who hired me. It was a delegated authority. And for us as Christians as well, we don't carry inherent authority. And that's the danger of some of this teaching that teaches we like these little mini gods, and we've got this this power inside of us that we can do all this stuff, and this self-actualization. The truth is, the only authority we have as Christians is authority that has been delegated us by Christ. Now, that doesn't make that authority any less. In fact, it makes it more, because it's his authority that he's delegated to us. It's what he's put inside of us. And so we do have dominion over disease, and we do have dominion over death and the enemy and all the things that are in front of us. But how then, if God has given us this authority and it's come from Christ, how does that authority work itself out? Well, primarily through prayer. And when the country was in a tricky space last year, we were all quoting, if the people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and turn from their wicked ways, I'll turn and heal their land. And I don't hear a lot of that at the moment, but I do think it's just as apt now, that we need God to heal our land at the moment. And so I'm encouraging us as a community together to exercise your spiritual authority. Jesus has given you the right okay? And the authority to be able to speak healing and to speak life and to speak peace and all the things that are missing in the world at the moment in His name. And you do that through prayer. And so what we're going to do, and this might be a little bit different for some of us, but this Thursday, as a church community, we're going to be praying for 24 hours. Now, that's not all of us praying for 24 hours, just in case you're terrified. But we're going to split it up into 15-minute little chunks. So starting at midnight on Wednesday night, and then praying through till midnight on Thursday night, we're going to be praying in little 15-minute chunks and calling out to God and saying, Lord, in the authority that you've given us, won't you bring healing, won't you bring peace, won't you bring life to our land, getting our shoulder behind what's going on in this country and seeing God bring life. That's exercising our spiritual authority. And so we'll be talking over the next few days a little bit about how we're going to do that, how we'll split up the times. If you'd like to let us know from now already, you're welcome to send us a text. Hey, I'd like to pray from this time to this time. So 15-minute chunks. So it's sort of like 12 to 12:15, 12:15 to 12:30, whatever. So those sort of chunks. And then we'll also be sending out what we're going to be praying for. Just some ideas. And even if you don't consider yourself to be a prayer, to be able to take 15 minutes, and even if you pray out loud for 5 minutes of that, and the other 10 minutes you just sit quietly, put some worship music on, and you, God, won't you come and do something in our country? That's awesome. Let's stretch ourselves a little bit and walk in this authority that God's given us, that when the enemy and whatever's coming against us sees us coming as the church, they tremble at the sight of this church that's praying. Why? Not because of our authority, but because of the authority that Jesus has given us.